I welcome you to this session of ISO 14001 2015, and today we are going to talk about clause number 7.4, communication. And under this, general clause 7.4.1. So as usual, first of all, I'll read out the requirement to you as given in the standard. The organization shall establish, implement and maintain the processes needed for internal and external communications relevant to the environmental management system, including A, B, C, D, there are 4 points, on what it will communicate, when it will communicate, and with whom to communicate and how to communicate. So these are the 4 points. And when establishing its communication processes, the organization shall take into account its compliance obligations. Ensure that environmental information communicated is consistent with information generated within the environmental management system and is reliable. The organization shall respond to relevant communications on its environmental management system. The organization shall retain documented information as evidence of its communication as appropriate. So this is all in the clause, and now let us discuss it in more detail. Well, as the clause says, it is regarding the communication. So communication with whom? Communication with the people who are connected with the organization. So naturally clients are connected, legal authorities are connected, the neighbors are connected, the workers are connected, our own people are connected with the organization. So anybody who is connected with the organization, if there is a communication to be made between the organization and them, then these things have to be taken care. So the organization shall establish, implement and maintain the processes needed for internal and external communication. So communications will be internal as well as external. So both ways we have to ensure that whatever is the communication, we are able to carry out that communication. Okay, according to the procedure laid down by us. And we have to take into account number A, on what it will communicate. What is the topic of communication? What are we going to communicate about? So we have to be sure about this and take a decision on this regard. And when to communicate, at what point of time we are going to communicate, and with whom to communicate, and with whom, because there could be people inside the organization, outside the organization, but with whom we are going to communicate. So that authority or that person has to be identified. And how to communicate, how we are going to communicate, whether we are going to write a letter or we are going to make a telephone call, or whatever is the method of communication, we have to specify that. And when establishing its communication processes, the organization shall, the very first thing is, take into account its compliance obligations. So whatever are our compliant obligations, that means our major major points where we have to communicate, the aspects and impacts, and the major ones which we consider are major, that we have to pick up, and also where legal requirements are associated. So these two things put together, they become the compliance obligation. So we have to take care that we are taking care of the compliance obligations. So when to communicate and with whom to communicate, and how to communicate. So in what manner we are going to communicate, whether we are going to write a letter or give a statement or communicate verbally or in whatever manner. So that thing has to be very clear with us. And when establishing its communication processes, the organization shall take into account its compliance obligations. So we have to take into account our compliance obligations and ensure that the environmental information communicated is consistent with the information generated within the environmental management system and is reliable. So we have to take into account that these things are taken care. So we have to ensure that the information is also reliable. And the organization shall respond to relevant communication on its environmental management system. If there is a communication from outside pertaining to the environmental management system, then we have to take note of that and we have to respond accordingly to the relevant communication on the environment management system. The organization shall retain documented information as evidence of its communications as appropriate. So it will depend on the organization what records are to be maintained, in what manner they are to be maintained, whether we have to retain a copy of what we have communicated or a record of whatever we have communicated in whatever form, in the soft form or in the hard copy or whatever way we have. So we have to maintain a record as to in what manner we have communicated our information to the people within the organization and outside the organization. So this is all in this class. This is a relatively a medium kind of class. I hope you have understood the requirement, but by any chance if there is anything which is not clear to you, please give your comment below this video. I'll try to explain to you once again so that nothing is there which is not clear to you. And if you are liking my videos, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and also share my videos with your friends and colleagues so that the advantage of whatever discussion is taking place between us, they can also reap that advantage. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that as and when I load my videos, the video information will reach you in time. You will be able to see my videos without any delay. So that's all, and see you again on next Sunday. And next Sunday we are going to talk about clause number 7.4.2, internal communication. So in particular about internal communication we shall be talking on next Sunday. Bye bye till then, and see you again on next Sunday. Bye.